Hello, and welcome to another exciting edition of WrestleBound. You'll have to excuse my general lack of enthusiasm as I'm not looking forward to this one, as we have been drafted from the superior brand to... Well, let me ask you this, from one wrestling fan to another, how do you like your wrestling? Do you like it as you would like your steak? It could be well done, or maybe medium depending on the match. But you may like it like you like your eggs. Raw. Now I know you may be looking at me and thinking, but I couldn't care less. It's Raw on the Xbox. Take it away, me on the mic. Though Raw on Monday nights is such a slug to watch these days, it was starting to show signs of going downhill once the Monday Night Wars concluded. WWF Raw was developed by Anchor Inc. and published by THQ. No surprises there. If you're not aware of Anchor, they made such classics like UFC, Pride FC, and a JoJo game. So we've got a winning combo here. It holds the distinction for being one of the last games to have the World Wrestling Federation logo before they settled with the Panda people, and it was originally titled Raw is War before the show name was shortened down. It was released in 2002, a year after the Invasion angle, and right around when Ric Flair was a kayfabe co-owner of the operation, coming out on February 11th in North America, September 27th in Europe, and October 3rd in Japan. Support goes up to 4 players, and the ESRB rates it a T14. Raw's cover is a prime example of both good and bad Photoshop. You got Triple H and Biker Taker blending in well with the fire, Jeff Hardy's cropped well enough to look like he's taken the blow of the explosion, and I initially thought Kane was chokeslamming Hunter again, but that doesn't make sense as he'd be on there twice, and then I remembered the cerebral assassin can't look weak in these games, so that has to be Jericho when looking at the ponytail. The back is fine for what it is, popping with decent screenshots but bland with the descriptions. WWF gets Raw on Xbox, huh? Is that supposed to get me pumped? The worst thing about all this is, I'm holding a Duke. My hands are big enough, but it's so uncomfortable. Already I'm pissed, so this is setting the tone nicely for how I watch this crap on the regular. Guess it's gonna be the same thing when I play the games too. Oh joy. It opens up as you would expect with typical logos and strange copyright. Weird they had to highlight a couple songs, and Jack Specific can jack off elsewhere. I like that they also try to seamlessly transition the Raw intro to in-game graphics of the arena and pyro. A respectable transition, though not seamless by today's standards. First order of business is to head straight into a one-on-one exhibition to take a look at the roster, which looks to me like it's back to 2 years before the invasion ever took place, with faces like
If you smell what the Rock is cooking,
A real man's man. Indeed.
and that guy from the X Factor, along with a couple of locked dickheads. But I'm gonna go for Rhino, cause he can do the... And he'll go against Judas before we knew him to see if we can recreate that moment. Though I don't see an option to pick a different set to fight in. Guess the brand war was so strong that they didn't want any sign of the blue brand in this game. I will admit to saying I'm not much of an Xbox guy, but I'm kind of impressed with how this looks. Though the models are middling at best, entrances are smooth, and so are the animations. What is that? Press Y to interfere? Oh shit, Rhino is charging! Weak! So I'm already impressed by the visuals, but can the actual gameplay impress me? A is used for grappling, X is for striking attacks, Y is for blocking but not reversing, don't get that mixed up, and B is for taunting. Now, using your grapple and striking attacks in conjunction with the stick or directional pad can make you do different moves, but I had trouble trying to pull off said different moves, so I ended up using the same ones over and over again, which I'm sure costed me with this game's gimmick. This down here is the voltage meter, a shared meter between both characters to show the crowd reaction towards one another. It'll increase as you perform more different moves, but can easily decrease in other ways. If you have a sizable advantage, it may flicker, notifying you that you can use your finisher. I wasn't popular on that night, but Jericho sure was. He's putting me in the walls. It's an odd way to have a meter you can build up a finisher for both characters, but I guess they had to try something different. It still got me confused with this other meter that I thought was the one you build up, but no, that's actually your stamina bar, which I found out can burn out rather quickly, and when that square starts blinking, that indicates that you might go down for the 3 count. But that won't happen to me. I would never let that happen. Whoa, what the fuck? What? No, that's baloney. We're having a rematch. Not uncommon with today's modern wrestling. I want to comment real quick on what you can change just before you pick characters. It's your typical stuff like time limits and certain rules, but what alarms me is there aren't many choices to change the match stipulation. There isn't any additional menu selection, just the choice between a normal or hardcore match. I'm growing more concerned that this game may be the equivalent of what this would be 5 years later on the Wii. In hindsight, I should have seen it coming as it was the first wrestling game on the Xbox, but I thought the mighty Bucks with an X could handle it better. I'm gonna try the hardcore rules to see if I can get a better advantage, and this should be Rhino's wheelhouse, right? Wrong. At least I lasted longer than the previous, but more faults with the gameplay came in this match. Picking up weapons is used with B, the same button that does taunts, and it's sometimes defaulted to that instead of picking up the weapon I was next to. The weapons themselves can be random at times, like I saw chairs outside of the ring, also tables were there that I didn't know how to use, which led to this. I think the AI is a little dumb. God damn it, Jericho. I also had a real hard time with trying to grapple as it didn't seem to be landing on Le Champion at points. And for the love of God, how can I pull off a reversal or counter? The manual says X and A does the trick, but I could never execute it and I lost again. My God, this is a confusing bunch of BS. If I can't beat the computer, let's see if another computer can. I mean, I spent more than 12 minutes trying to figure out this crap, so I might as well see what the AI can do. I also put it as a hardcore match, but they never once left the ring to go get a weapon to use, and it dragged on, and wouldn't you know it, Jericho won again. I guess there's a reason he's one of the best in the world, but damn, Rhino, the heavy of the NC deserve better. So my worst fears were confirmed when looking at all the other matches you can play. You only have 8 somewhat different match types with no other differing stipulations besides hardcore. I will say though, it's a little better than this by 3 matches, but fuck. I tried to make the most of it and put the computers to work. Not gonna try and fight again after that shit show. Put the boys to war again with their significant others by their side, though Lita looks like she should be recovering from her trip to the tanning salon. In this match in particular, there was some weird stuff going on. Like, Jeff, why are you hitting on Lita? And Matt seemed to be going all about the corners with a twitch. The comms are just weird with their movements in general. They do what they want, when they want, showing their attitude just before the boss was calling for some ruthless aggression. I put Head Cheese back together against the Holly Brothers in a tornado tag, but they lost. Too bad. They had potential, but their legacy can live on with RK Bro. It's the same dynamic, I'm telling you. I decided to put the remaining unlocked women in a triple threat as they deserve it. Trish Stratus, Ivory, and especially Molly Holly. Unfortunately, it only went 4 minutes. Reality seemed to blend in with virtuality. I put together a nothing fatal 4-way, but what got my attention was the double feature. I never seen that implemented in one of these games before, so that was cool. They really went far in making you feel like you're watching the show, which is admirable, but they still neglected to fine-tune the most important area, these controls. I put a few Armageddon participants together to see who would stand tall in a battle royal. By regular gaming terms, this would work if it had an E at the end, but again, this is an elimination match, and they seem to eliminate each other in quick succession. Even with a random Devon interference, there was only one real winner to pick. God, when Vince finally gets relieved from creative, we need Stone Cold to give him one last stunner to send everyone home happy. Then we can forget he was ruining wrestling for the longest time. On to the handicap matches, where Big Show got his big ass handed by a reunited Radicals, with Moppy in tow. Remember that? Perry Saturn's punishment for going hard on a jobber? And lastly, I put the Brothers of Destruction back together to face the real toughest SOB in the business, Haku. You ought to know the stories of this man. If you haven't, they could match Andre the Giant in terms of unbelievability. They once teamed together at a point, you know, and oh, wow, beaten in under a minute. If he ever sees this, I'm a dead man. Let this be known, I never booked that match. It was Bill Gates and his bots, I swear. We've thoroughly gone through all of the exhibition section, and it was lackluster. I'm not sure how anything else could make up for it, but we'll give it a whirl. The options have more stuff crammed in here than the actual game, which makes me pull a Shawn Michaels to ask God, why won't these devs work on the gameplay as opposed to the extras? We've got stuff like adjustment options for the game and controls. Oh, thank God they have that, but it still makes me wonder if they did it because they knew these controls sucked like X Factor. You've got other adjustments and basic extra things like credits and even a how to play that doesn't go into much detail and says to refer to the manual after it's done. Well, thanks, but this doesn't help either. A trailer? I'll bite. Dark Summit? Nah, I'd rather play with these action figures the manual advertises. The museum might be by far my favorite part of the game, giving you a showcase of all the weapons or items you've interacted with, as well as up-to-date descriptions of the wrestlers and their Titantrons. And I obviously had to watch the best from that time. There are a couple other modes in the main menu, like title matches, where it's like a gauntlet style challenge that you have to get through. It's interesting, and I tried to go for the light heavyweight title, but then I remembered that this game and I do not go well together, so those hopes were dashed. I don't think I qualified anyway, I'm well over their weight class. But if you do want to go for all the titles, you get a very interesting reward. You unlock Fred Durst. Yeah, that guy. It's funny to know this is one of those games that you can unlock the front man of Limp Bizkit, but I'm too lazy to go through all that effort, but you can knock yourself out if you like. King of the Ring was also here, which isn't surprising, it could be found on its own elsewhere in other games, but I got to thinking, it's time for me to become king, so I went and saw what the Create a Wrestler could do for me. It was a definite upgrade from SmackDown, I'll give it that. But there wasn't a whole lot of customization, but that comes down to me not playing the game long enough to have everything to show. So this was the best I came up with. I set up the tournament, which by the way could have been set up in several ways that I hadn't seen before, but I stuck with the traditional singles affair. And my opponent is... Brian. You're here too, huh? Well, you just ran into your worst nightmare. Your rough and tough brother with a short fuse and a long schlong is here to kick your ass off the brackets. Let's go! This is my time. I've been waiting to get out of your shadow. This is what you get for all the cameos you promised me but then gave to our other brothers. Alright, you got some skills, I'll give you that. Gotta give the people a little taste of what they want. Oh, you knocked my glasses off! You know that's the rule between all of us. Never touch the glasses unless it's your own. You can throw glasses like a weapon. Oh man, this game just won half a star back for that shit. Oh my god, just stay down! Just stay down! Let me have this! No! 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 I'm gonna stay calm. I'm not a sore loser. I'm a sportsman. Oh, who am I kidding? Ah! Okay. Who is he facing next? Triple H! Yes! He never beats him! Oh my god! That doesn't look like him at all! A measure of redemption was received as the King of Kings squashed Bryan like the Blueberry Blue Man Group reject that he is, but even then, he didn't win either. He was beaten by Albert. Albert? Lord Albert A-Train Tensai of TNA? Yeah, that's fine. He seems like a nice dude and hopefully miles above Bill DeMont as a trainer and general human being. For the first Raw game and the first wrestling game on the Xbox, reception was very mixed, ranging from overly positive to deservingly negative. Despite that, a sequel would come out next year that was moderately better, but I won't know by how much till I get my hands on it. On a weird side note, this game was also released on Windows and was the last game to do so for more than a decade until WWE 2K15. Hope you got your 2 cents worth of useless information. I don't know why we're so shocked that a program called Raw is so bad. Sure, it may have been good during one era of wrestling, but most of the time it's been a real shit show. And I would say this game only highlighted the start of that fall, at least in video game form. All jokes aside, I was kinda hoping this game might be different in a good way. And it was in some aspects. The visuals for the most part were interesting, minus a few models. The presentation alone is respectable, and some extras are a nice touch. But that's all this game really has going for it. I do not like how this game controls. Not even when you're able to change the configuration doesn't make it any better. And it doesn't feel finished, you know, this needed to be worked on more. I'm starting to think this might have been rushed a bit. There should have been more time to include extra match types and arenas and a couple other things that make the original SmackDown still good to play. But in the end, it just doesn't have enough to keep me invested. As far as I see it, if this wasn't a launch game, it sure looks like it. Now I'm hoping one day when I do get my hands on the sequel, that it might redeem itself. But then again, there wasn't another solo Raw game after it, so psh. This is a convoluted piece of crap. Little good, most bad. Not the worst one I've played, but lacking a lot of what could make it better. Once again, SmackDown prevails over Raw, so I'm gonna give it 2 stars. Seriously, has Raw ever been good for a long stretch of time? Let's actually use our brains that WWE doesn't think we have. It started during the New Generation Kitty Gimmick era, peaked during the Attitude era, then has never really found the same success after it ever again, slowly losing lots and lots of fans, and I won't be surprised if and when they may go below 1 million viewers on a show. But when they were at war, they produced some good shit. But not all of it is looked back on fondly, and that includes some games that were made before war really took off. This is Alex, ready to see you in the war zone. Though it could be the impact zone, I don't know. If that's the case, I might have to change my name. Hold on. Let's see, what's a good one? Relic House?